Warning: this video contains language that some may find offensive, specifically the use of the word nigga. Real niggas, when you gonna realize that you are Israel, nigga? This is just my commentary on one particular subject. Like it or not, this is just how I feel. It's unfortunate, but most of my people are asleep. One of the problems I see is this: so many of the youth, too many young, so-called African American men are trying to be real niggas, unaware that you are Israel, nigga. Specifically, hip-hop culture seems to be preoccupied with the morbid fixation and desire to identify with the stereotypical images of a quote-unquote real nigga.
How you feel to be a real nigga?
Like one for a real nigga.
If you know me, you know I'm a real nigga, yeah.
All this is done with the participants not knowing, and I might add, with some not caring to even dare to venture and find out who and what they really are. Most are unwilling to adapt their perspective to the prevailing level of light, which would enable them to see their true heritage clearly. You are not a real nigga. You are Israel, nigga. So many of us have so fully and irredeemably committed and invested ourselves on this self-destructive path by embracing the mantle of being a so-called real nigga in function, form, and purpose. In fact, we are so devoted to being real niggas that we have effectively guaranteed our own demise and inevitable destruction through the obligatory negativity that being a real nigga inescapably requires. It is a certainty that when young black men undergo the metamorphosis of being turned into a real nigga, they are transmogrified into a grotesque caricature of the stereotypes that were foisted upon our people surreptitiously and without warrant because of the prejudicial and racist attitudes held by so many towards our people and based solely on the color of our skin. And again I say, you are not a real nigga. You are Israel, nigga. But instead of lambasting and upbraiding these disloyal turncoats for dancing a jig in the slave master's sideshow, for being exhibited and used to divert and distract attention from more important issues, their ignorance is embraced. These are the same people who care more about turning a profit through black exploitation than the liberation of our people's minds from the bonds of mental slavery and the physical chains of the prison industrial complex. Why do we applaud these same real niggas for spreading this perversity and obstinacy to future generations? You know what the real is. Real niggas ain't nothing but slaves wearing chains around their neck. Unbeknownst to them, these are the chains of slavery spoken of in Deuteronomy 28:47-48, which declares, "Because you did not serve the Lord your God with joy and gladness of heart, for the abundance of everything, therefore you shall serve your enemies, whom the Lord will send against you in hunger and thirst and nakedness and in need of everything, and he will put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you." Again I say, you are not a real nigga. You are Israel, nigga. Revelation 3:17 declares, "Because thou sayest, I am rich and increase with goods, and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked, I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see." Not to mention, being a real nigga means that you promote genocide through the selling of dope in your neighborhood, which ravishes and destroys your community. Being a real nigga also means that you promote the murder of others who look like you over disputes for drug territory, affiliation with the ops or rival gangs, disputes over money, and for generally any form of disrespect that may offend you, whether that disrespect is actual or perceived. This is not limited to, but including someone stepping on your Jordans. How sad that we kill each other to put our feet in a pair of Jordans, not realizing that our ancestors put their feet in the River Jordan after Moshe or Moses' death when they followed Yehoshua or Joshua and the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant as they passed over into the Holy Land that was given to us by the Most High. See Joshua 1:11. This particular real nigga rule concerning murder comes with the additional provision which stipulates that while it is okay to murder, slay, or otherwise kill with malice any and all other niggas that you so choose, it is never, no matter what the circumstance, okay to use any form of violence or threat thereof to defend yourself or any other nigga from unjust oppression and brutalization, up to and including the murder of the innocent, i.e. men, women, and children who look like you by your slave masters. Being a real nigga means that you practice misogyny by dehumanizing your women, relegating them to being nothing more than objects of sexual conquest. Oh, and by the way, every real nigga must serve a stint in prison in order to be considered a certified real nigga. It is documented fact that the government purposefully funneled drugs and guns into minority communities during the 80s, which led to the war on drugs and privatized prisons. But real niggas celebrate the drug kingpins who themselves are considered to be the definition of a real nigga, which in fact is true, cause a real nigga don't care about nothing but himself. But I keep telling you, you are not a real nigga. You are Israel, nigga. Drug dealing real niggas are nothing but flunkies on the government's payroll, since from the beginning the plug was always the American government anyway. Therefore, these real nigga drug kingpins are used for the government's agenda of destroying the black community, and then once they have outlived their usefulness to the government, those same kingpins are arrested, prosecuted, and sent to federal prison by the same federal government that supplied them with the drugs and the guns in the first place. This is the fate of real niggas in this situation. They call drug houses a trap for a reason, because they are filled with rats trying to get to the cheese. But eventually they always get caught and end up spending the rest of their lives in a maze of cells stacked on top of each other like rats in a laboratory to be used as subjects of social experiments on psychological control and the perception of power. Knowing all of this, you real niggas keep dancing the jig for the slave master's amusement. It's sickening to watch and remain reticent, taciturn, and silent at this self-destructive behavior due to disobedience to God and the worship of mammon and material possessions, gods of wood and stone. See Deuteronomy 28:64. You are not a real nigga. You are Israel, nigga. However, a change is coming as the nascent understanding of the people who are Israel concerning our true identity is burgeoning. The scriptures tell us in Isaiah 27:6, he shall cause them that come of Jacob to take root. Israel shall blossom and bud and fill the face of the world with fruit. Ezekiel 36:8 declares, but you, O mountains of Israel, will produce branches and bear fruit for my people Israel, for they will soon come home. Jeremiah 31:31 declares, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. In Deuteronomy 4:25-27, he said our disobedience would cause the Lord to scatter us among the nations. Then in Deuteronomy 4:30, he said that in the latter days, during a time of tribulation, we would return to the Lord and obey him again. Deuteronomy 30:1-3 declares, and it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee, and shall return unto the Lord thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day. thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. The Most High has told us that if we, who are Israel, agree to obey his covenant again, he would make us prosperous, and then he would circumcise our hearts. See Romans 2:28 through 29. Put our enemies to flight and delight in us again. Deuteronomy 30:1 through 10 is a clear summary of end-time events. Israel will be brought back into the land, our enemies will be cursed, and our covenant will be restored. Ezekiel 38 through 39, our hearts will be circumcised. Zechariah 12:10, and our prosperity will be restored. Isaiah 65:17 through 25. You are not a real nigga. You are Israel, nigga. Israel.